According to reports, Arsenal have been offered the chance to sign 3 strikers as they hold serious intentions to strengthen their forward line. The Gunners are in urgent need of reinforcements, with head coach Mikel Arteta lacking depth in attack. Under pressure, Kai Havertz is currently their only fit center forward after Gabriel Jesus was ruled out for the season with a serious knee injury. Arsenal missed out on RB Leipzig standout Benjamin Šeško in the summer despite making him their top target. He signed a contract extension but is still expected to leave the Bundesliga side this year for around £60 million due to a gentleman's agreement. The Gunners have been linked with bringing forward their plans for Šeško, but a short-term solution appears more likely this month. Rashford, Grealish, Nunez among APL stars forced to wait for summer transfer amid January links. A report from the boot room states that Arsenal have been offered 3 prolific strikers: Fiorentina's Moise Kean, 16 goals in 26 games, Atalanta's Mateo Retegui, 19 in 29, and Spartak Moscow's Manfred Ugalde, 16 in 22. Arsenal have serious intentions to sign a new striker before next week's deadline due to Gabriel Jesus' long-term injury. In an ideal scenario, Mikel Arteta would secure one of his long-term targets this month, but major January signings are rare. Arteta and Arsenal's hierarchy believe there is space for another forward, but they are cautious about committing financially to a short-term deal. Arsenal also hope to secure Sverre Nypan this week, giving fans in North London potential good news before deadline day. Nypan stated it would be beneficial to finalize a decision before the window closes. The clubs interested in Sverre are big and professional, but what impresses me most is their values and how well they treat people. They genuinely care about Sverre, which was important to us. They see him as more than just another piece in the puzzle. The decision is difficult, as all options are a very high level. He added, Sverre is open to both options, but he hasn't reached that stage yet. We still need to discuss it. For years, Watkins has been mentioned as a potential Arsenal signing, and now the club has finally acted. Reports suggest that Arsenal made an offer for the 29-year-old striker just yesterday, hoping to bring him to the Emirates before the transfer window slams shut. Given their struggles in front of goal this season, the move makes sense, but the timing is raising a few eyebrows. If Arsenal was serious about signing Watkins, why wait until the last moments of the window? They've had all of January to make a move, yet only now are they pushing for a deal. This late approach adds pressure to an already complicated situation, one that involves more than just Arsenal and Watkins. At the same time Arsenal is making their move, Aston Villa is deep in negotiations with Saudi club Al Nassr over the potential sale of Jhon Duran. The Colombian forward is looking for more game time, and a move to Saudi Arabia could be on the cards. But here's the issue. If Villa sells Duran, does that make it even harder for them to let Watkins leave? Unai Emery's side is flying high, competing for a top 4 finish and securing Champions League football for next season. Selling both strikers in the same window would be a massive gamble, and it's unlikely Villa would weaken their squad so drastic. Watkins is their top scorer, their main man up front, and with Duran's potential exit, letting him go would leave a huge hole in their attack. Former footballer Ally McCoist summed up the situation perfectly when speaking on the BBC. He said, "You can't sell both. What a dilemma it is." Emery is actually in a perfect position. He has 2 great strikers fighting for that position. Of course, one of them wants away because he wants to play more. His words highlight the key issue here. Villa might be willing to part with one striker, but losing both in one window? That seems incredibly unlikely. So, where does this leave Arsenal? If Villa finalizes Duran's sale to Al Nassr, they will have no reason to sell Watkins, and Arsenal's pursuit could be over before it even truly begins. If that happens, the Gunners will have to look elsewhere. Could they make a late move for another target, or will they have to wait until the summer to find their ideal striker? Is Mikel Arteta influencing Arsenal fans to turn against referees? That's what Gary Neville seems to believe. The former Manchester United defender recently claimed that Arteta's vocal criticism of officials has fueled a growing sense of injustice among Arsenal fans. But is there truth to this, or is it just another case of a manager standing up for his team? In today's deep dive, we'll explore the controversy surrounding Arsenal's recent referee-related frustrations, Neville's concerns, Arteta's response, and what this means for the future of officiating in the Premier League. So, whether you're an Arsenal fan who feels your team has been unfairly treated, or a neutral observer interested in how referees are shaping the modern game, stick with us as we break it all down. Let's get into it. Arsenal's frustration with refereeing decisions isn't new, but it has become a major talking point this season, with numerous decisions leaving fans and pundits shaking their heads. One of the biggest incidents came in their recent match against Wolves when young talent Miles Lewis-Skelly was shown a controversial red card. The decision sent shockwaves through the Arsenal fanbase, with many believing it was an overreaction. What made matters worse was that, after an appeal, the red card was overturned. This only added to the growing perception that referees were making poor decisions against Arsenal, and that those mistakes were directly influencing their results. Fans took to social media in droves, calling out what they saw as an ongoing pattern of unfair treatment. Some went went as far as to suggest corruption, while others demanded better accountability from match officials. But this incident was just the latest in a long list of controversial moments. From harsh penalty calls to disallowed goals, Arsenal have felt hard done by throughout the season. Players like Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard have spoken openly about their frustrations, while Arteta himself has repeatedly questioned the consistency of refereeing decisions. The conversation has now escalated to the point where figures like Gary Neville have weighed in with strong opinions. Former Manchester United defender and Sky Sports pundit Gary Neville has never been one to shy away from strong opinions, and when it comes to Arsenal's ongoing battles with referees, he's got a lot to say. In a recent interview with the Daily Mail, Neville suggested that Arteta's outspoken criticism of officials is having a wider impact, influencing Arsenal fans to adopt an increasingly hostile stance towards referees. He said, "Now you have a sway of Arsenal's anger, which comes from the players, from Mikel Arteta, and from prominent fans. You now have a social media wave that goes towards allegations of corruption and cheating. In our day, we couldn't have that much influence. Everyone was at home, without a phone, and didn't have Twitter." Neville's point seems to be that in the age of social media, managers have more influence than ever before. When a manager like Arteta publicly calls out referees, his words don't just stay in press conferences. They spread like wildfire across Twitter, YouTube, and fan forums, shaping the narrative and intensifying fan reactions. However, Neville's comments haven't gone without criticism. Many Arsenal fans argue that he's being hypocritical, as he himself has been highly critical of referees when decisions have gone against Manchester United in the past. Furthermore, some see his remarks as an attempt to shift the blame away from poor officiating and onto the reactions of frustrated players and supporters. Despite Neville's claims, Arteta has insisted that his criticisms of referees are not about creating division, but rather about demanding fairness. The Arsenal boss has been vocal about wanting better officiating standards in the Premier League. He has also been clear that he does not support abuse or threats directed at referees. Following the overturned red card decision for Lewis Skelly, Arteta addressed the media, saying, "We all have to be better. This hatred we are putting into football, it has to go. We all have to be responsible for that. It's a tricky balance. On one hand, he wants to stand up for his team and call out what he sees as inconsistent officiating. On the other hand, he acknowledges that criticism should never cross the line into personal attacks. His message to fans seems to be, challenge the decisions, but do so respectfully." Arteta's stance raises an important question. Should managers be allowed to call out referees openly, or does this only make the situation worse? Some believe his passion is justified, while others argue that constant complaints only create a toxic atmosphere that puts referees under even more pressure. The debate over Arteta's role in this controversy has divided opinions across the footballing world. On one side, many pundits and fans believe Arsenal have been victims of poor refereeing and that Arteta is simply doing what any good manager should, protecting his players and demanding accountability. Figures like Jamie O'Hara and Mark Chapman have supported Arteta's complaints, stating that Arsenal have had too many crucial decisions go against them this season. However, others agree with Neville and worry that Arteta's approach is contributing to a culture of negativity towards referees. Some fans have taken their frustrations too far, directing abuse and threats at officials. This has led to concerns about whether managers and influential figures in football need to be more careful with their words. This isn't just an Arsenal problem. Other clubs have had similar issues with officiating, and managers like Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola have also voiced frustrations. However, Arsenal's situation has gained particular attention due to the frequency of their complaints and the reaction of their supporters. This controversy goes beyond just Arsenal and their fan base. It's part of a wider discussion about referees, VAR, and the state of officiating in modern football. With social media amplifying every controversial decision, referees are under more scrutiny than ever before. Mistakes that might have gone unnoticed in the past are now analyzed from every possible angle, with fans demanding more transparency and accountability. The Premier League and PGMOL, Professional Game Match Officials Limited, are now under pressure to improve officiating standards. Many have called for referees to be mic'd up like in rugby, allowing fans to hear their reasoning in real time. Others believe that VAR needs major reforms to ensure consistency across all matches. Whatever the solution may be, one thing is clear: trust in refereeing is at an all-time low, and unless major changes are made, controversies like this will only continue to dominate football discussions.